Alright, welcome back to One Piece Anime Review, episode number 203. This review episode number 981. A new companion, Knight of the Sea, Jinbe, and the 1018 chapter of the manga. This one adapts pages 2 through 7 and 9 through 10 of chapter 977. Yeah, not much. Like roughly about 7 pages. And you're probably thinking, how the heck they adapt 7 pages for an episode that's roughly 23 minutes? Well, here's kind of the strange thing about this episode. About 20% of this episode is stock footage. You haven't seen one of these in a while. I think like the last time officially they had stuff like this was back during the Red Rearc. We pick up where we left off last week with Jinbe showing, of course, Luffy jumping ship, giving Jinbe a hug, and give him a hug, and then we get a flashback, mostly stock footage, very good stock footage, of basically when Luffy first met Jinbe and Impel Down, when Jinbe was talking to Ace, that scene here. There's a brief scene from the Marine Ford when the current fleet admiral, then one of the regular vice admirals, is about to punch Jinbe with his big lava fist. There's that. There's also the stuff in Fishman Island and a little bit of Whole Cake. He does explain exactly where the heck he's been since he was last seen at the end of Whole Cake. Well, he was tending to some of the wounded for the Sun Pirates and they gave him a farewell party. And basically, it's probably implied he swam all the way here. That would probably he probably hitched a ride with a whale shark. It's possible. And of course, need some booze to celebrate. We need a toast. And Sanji's like, we're out of booze. And then Zero's like, no, I smell some booze. Where? That way. And he's like, that looks like Asakusa. And he's like, he's right, I smell food. Yep, I thought it was so funny when they did that. And they basically just race off to there. Kinemon tries to get a strategy meeting going, but just ignore me. Of course, Law keeps telling him to get off his ship. Like, don't use the strategy. It's something he does not do in the manga. He basically remains very quiet. It's mostly the out of the anime. And then we see the Captain of the Minks, say to Darkstorm, like, Lord Darkstorm, I like to take command of the Minks while you're with the Asakusa, basically the Samurai 9. He's like, okay. And then we see Boss Hiro come on board the submarine and says, I'll take command of all the samurai. Like, okay, perfectly fine. And they plan a strategy. Just go into the front gate or go for the back gate and just basically, push on through. It's like, okay, what's your real plan? Oh, he's like very nervous, like he doesn't have a real plan. And lucky enough, Law basically saves his butt, basically saying, okay, we do know about Law, Ulysses, aka Captain Kidd, and Straw Hat. He points that these two are idiots, which that's kind of true, and they'll use them as decoys to take out the front gate, and they'll slip behind the back. They also it's basically a lot of the islands blocked up by cliffs that basically use the submarine they're on to go around and have the regular 9 just go to the back of the island, and using his room ability to transport them to the island itself. Okay, seems like a really interesting idea. And of course, Kenshi's like, was that your real plan? And he's basically blushed like, yes, that was. We'll go with that strategy. And that was so hilarious. And then we cut to, I kid you not, we cut to, the Straw Hats arriving. Of course, Nai points out, though, how much of a good steerer that Jinbe is, because he's very impressed with his steering skills. And everyone's happy to see him. And when they'll give him a hug, we see Nami, Carrot, and even Chopper give him a hug. Of course, we don't see Robin. Yeah, we don't see Robin, Zoro, Sanji. And so, they basically steer right to the shoreline. Oh, crap, there's some cannons there. So, Frankie throws one of the claws into the giant archway thing. This is a Japanese archway. And steers the ship, turns the ship sideways to avoid the cannon thing. And of course, all of them basically jump to the shoreline and basically beat the crap out of the animal pirates, which all know the various moves. One move that Robin does, she's not done this since Fishman Island. The ability where she can grow giant legs. Excuse me. And stomp on people. Yeah, she hasn't done this since Fishman Island. Which you're probably thinking, really? Yeah, it's not been since Fishman Island since they used the damn thing. And of course, Zoro used some slicing ability. Of course, you see Luffy used a couple moves he has in the world, like the Gum Gum Pistol. That's a move he hasn't used in a long time. Or the Jet Pistol. We see, well, of course, Sanji. Of course, Brook gets a chance to chip in the action. A lot of the strats get a chance to chip in here. It's really cool, really awesome. Don't see Carrot participate in the action. Like, that's interesting. And then we see also Usopp, Chopper, and Nami just stand for the ship, which is so funny. Also wonder, where the heck is Zeus? I wonder that too. Yeah. And, well, it's a good big action sequence. Now, in the manga, this is basically from 2 pages. This whole, like, I don't know, about 5-minute sequence is from 2 pages. And, wow, it looks so freaking awesome. In the manga, this is, like, really quick. Bam, bam, that's it. Of course, next week is the anime debut of the Topic Rope Pirates. These are a subsidiary group of the Anno Pirates who basically work as, well, do the dirty work for Kaido. One of whom had made a debut prior to this. Page 1. Yep. And one of the members is his sister, Uti, I think it's pronounced her name. Yeah, she's going to make her anime debut next week, which is going to be interesting. Yep. I remember one guy asking me this, like, what's my favorite member of the Top Pirates? This was at the time when they just showed up. I didn't have a favorite at the time, and now it's Uti because she's purely fun. I like her character, and I love her reaction when Luffy meets up there. He's like, "Who are you?" Because it's quite obvious Luffy has never met before, which I think is so hilarious. And speaking of Uti, her and her brother, page 1 on the cover of the chapter. Chapter 1018, Jinbe versus Who's Who. Yep, she's here with her brother, and he's like reading, where she steps in and just tries to interfere. In case you're curious, though, that's an actual mask she's wearing. I think because she's got like razor sharp teeth underneath, just like how why you don't see Kotatsu, the Big Mom's second son. You see, don't see him show off his teeth because she of course just looks awesome. So, and then we see still fighting, lots of fighting. Apparently, the headliners and gifters have joined the Samurai Army, and of course, the empires keep shrinking. Of course, everybody joins. They're like, Duffo, yeah, the guy who beat up Luffy. I think he was one of the vice wardens. I think he was. See, Horse Lena just carrying Tama and Nami. Now I'm thinking of the way Nami is holding up Horse Lena. It's like, wow, her hand is very close to Horse Lena's, like, inside of her top. Yep. And we see also Gefazel. Yes, the guy who kidnapped Tama. Apparently he's been converted. Yep. And then we see, well, of course, Usopp is all bandaged up, and of course, Zeus comes out, and he says, "Hey, Nami, can I be a servant like before?" What do you mean? Absolutely not. But do you want to say sidekick? Nami! That way, losers, I'm Nami's sidekick. It's so funny seeing Zeus just being Nami's sidekick. Not his servant, her sidekick. Okay, that's perfectly fine. And of course, everyone, join the samurai, strike down Kaido. Have you gone insane? Yep. And then we see CP0 just basically just playing a game, watching like, oh man, like so many defectors joining Straw Hat. Now, as for who CP9 is, now they're apparently led by, of all people, Rob Lucci. Yeah, he's the lead of the group, and the guy who was leader of CP9, he's a member of this group, but he doesn't do much of anything. I don't know if he's here as part of this particular group that went to Wano, but he's the leader of CP0. And then we see, well, who's who battling, well, Jinbe. And it's like, she asks, like, so you're saying you bear a grudge against Luffy? Technically, my grudge against the man who stole the Gum Gum fruit from us. Red Hair Shanks. I was right. Yes. Yeah, I pointed out, like, so from us, like, it was Shanks. Yep, he hates Shanks. I'm thinking, really? He hates one of the four emperors for stealing this damn thing. And it's like, both the straw hats he wore at the time and the gunga things are passed inherited from him. Of course, you're talking my rage. I'm like, okay, that kind of makes sense. I mean, I kind of predicted this last week, and here's kind of the thing. I don't know if Oda watches my videos, but apparently I kind of predicted something that I kind of basically hinted at something that that he would say, excuse me, in this chapter that apparently that he hates Shanks. And I was right. Apparently, somehow I guessed it. Like, because I mentioned this last week. I mean, doesn't mean he hates Shanks. I mean, Shanks stole this from a government job. I mean, apparently I was correct about this. This has actually been the first time I could think of where I've said something about this manga and I'm kind of right about it, which is kind of interesting. I said it just last week. So he's like, see man, write this into dodge. Your typical armored hockey will stop these things tear you apart. Let me see how you can move on land, Jinbe. You know, for a fishman. He's like, I don't believe this. Don't you know casual racism against fishermen is out of style these days? It's like, sorry about that. Anyway, something I want to ask you. Iron Body, Flash Fang. And of course they use their various moves. Fishman Jujutsu, Low Tide Shoulder Throw, Water Shot, That Hurt. I want to ask you about a story I heard in jail from a guard. While I was there undergoing terrible torment, he told me to laugh and told me to pray. Apparently there was a figure that slaves would pray in long distance past. A legend word believed one day would free him. Sun god Nikki. Did they exist or they dream up? They thought he brought smiles to faces for delivered from their suffering. It's like, ugh. My time in prison felt endless. I also clinged to that string of legendaries. Save me, I thought. Someone, anyone. He's like, why would you ask me about this? Because you led the Sun Pirates. I heard there was 4 more slaves in that crew. And what is history of slavery? Like, finger pistol, spots. Oh, check it out, Master Who's jabbing the guy out. Apparently they don't know anything much about Jinbe. Give out October up was even stronger than a former warlord. And the president told me the story of Nika. He disappeared days later. I also think it was teenage. It was what I risked all to escape. Here I am today. Is there know about legend? He's like, fascinating, isn't it? Tell me everything you know. Yeah. Like Fishman Karate. Shark grip. I have nothing to say, likes of you. Like who's who? Fang pistol. Here comes your puncture wound. Fishman Karate, secret art. Crap, he just snapped all of a sudden. I got my tail. If you can run and roused by history. Demon Brick Fist. Be ready for what you're stepping into first. Ah, Master Who's Who. Next chapter, July 18th. Wow, I'm not actually surprised about that. The fact we're having another, week off of this thing. Yeah, I'm not all that surprised about that. No, not really. Yeah. I gotta say, fantastic chapter. Love it. I give this one a 10 out of 10. Yeah, who would have thought, though, that I kind of mentioned something in last chapter, that this guy hates Shanks, and I was right, he hates Shanks. Like, am I going to make another prediction? Well, here's one for you. Like, Jinbei is going to win this fight. No problem at all. I don't think he's going to lose this guy. I think he's going to win. Also, I'm curious to, this is not last chapter, Luffy is seen briefly getting his stomach pumped from water. This chapter is not seen at all. Not really, no. Also, what happened to the giant lady? That might be interesting to see her in the anime. Though, we might get there pretty soon. I mean, I would say we're not long away from Yamato's debut. Let's see. If I can find it here. Let's see. Her debut was in chapter number Well, it says she made her debut back in episode 972. Okay. I probably didn't see her. No, not really. Maybe she was a prisoner, but yeah, she's become an active threat, like showing off her face. Oh, it's not that long from now. Mm-hmm. Okay, so it looks like we might get a full appearance by her. Like, I don't know next week per se. Probably either next week or probably like a couple weeks. Well, let's see. Yamato doesn't make a full appearance until like chapter 983. So, it might be a bit before she shows up in the anime because she's an absolute great character. They've seen her. You've seen her like in the actual like opening teasers. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to basically seeing her full appearance in the anime. Mm-hmm. But probably won't be for quite a while because I think next week we'll finish up Japanese chapter 977. So probably won't be for a while. I'd say probably not until like, and this is my personal theory, maybe not until like 990 maybe. Maybe. Depends upon. Excuse me, but it's about 6 chapters away basically for adaptation wise. So yeah, 6 more to go till we see her. Though we might get a chance to see her soon, but who knows? Yep. So yeah, that's it for particular review. Stay tuned for my next review, which will be My Hero Academia, and then one more Comic Corner, and that's probably it for today, okay? So next video. Bye.